Welcome back to another video. It's a long one, but give it some love. Go and check out the rest of my social medias. You'll see the handles here in a second. And then don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you can find out for my next video. As I'm doing a wrap up from the last 6-week challenge, share some results and really share what's coming up because we're starting some new challenges and some new things very, very soon. A bit more of a life update coming up in the next video. But other than that, let's jump straight into this interview, y'all. Peace.
All right, here we are. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Good morning, Ethan.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here. Beautiful sunny day down here in Wollongong, so I'm feeling good.
You got your guns out, right? And I've got like 3 layers on. Like, what's the degrees Celsius over there in Wollongong?
Well, inside, because the heater's cranked. So I got out of bed and my sister had the heater on the house. So that house is like an oven, but outside it's only 14. But the sun is out. So in the sun, it's actually beautiful. But
yeah, I can feel it's getting a little bit toasty in here. I think we've got the heater on, but I'm still, like, my plan for winter was to be in Cairns, and we're obviously, still kind of semi-lockdown in Melbourne. All right, well, Ethan, I'm super excited to have this conversation with you today. It's been so awesome kind of getting to know you like the last couple of weeks as you were a guest on one of our team calls, which, completely fired up the team. So thank you so much for that. But I suppose I wanted to have more like an intimate conversation with you about your life now, your future ahead, especially as someone who's still young, like in the game. I see someone who like is actively pursuing a life of more. I just think it's super powerful. So tell me a little bit about yourself, like how old are you, your background, like, who are you?
Of course. Well, my name's Ethan. I'm from Wollongong. I was actually born in Caringbah, which is in like the Southern Shire, Cronulla sort of area, but moved down here when I was 2. So practically lived here my whole life. Grew up playing team sports. Always wanted to, I guess, do more. If I couldn't be professional at sport or something, I wanted to be involved in exercise. I wanted to have like a role where I have leadership and I have access to exercise or teaching or leadership. So I found like in school, I did like student rep council and sports house leaders and all that other fun stuff in primary school, then in high school, and that really kind of just followed my sister's lead. She's a incredible leader, even though she denies it all the time. She's an incredible leader, and I kind of just followed her footsteps. So student rep council, school captain in high school, and then swimming age champion every single year in high school, and was kind of just always active, was going to go to uni and either be teaching or do exercise science, rehab, sort of something like that. But yeah, I've been living it up in Wollongong for about 19 years now. So I'm only 21 too. I didn't say.
Yeah, that's so cool, because we just had a chat before and I was like, I thought you were so much older, because you've kind of got this thing about you where you're not like, I don't know, like you've got an older mindset. Does that make sense? You think a bit differently to the average 21-year-old. And I certainly can relate to that, because I started in business at 19, knowing I wanted a different path, like a different life ahead. And I didn't know what it was, but yeah, just, so you kind of like, when you're talking, and I was just hearing you before, like the thought came to me about leadership, like as you mentioned, And some people are either born leaders or some people evolve into leaders. Like, do you think you were like born with leadership qualities and, you know, the path you've taken is kind of like bring that out, or like, what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I think I was born with particular qualities, because I find, like, I don't know if people are into horoscopes, but like every horoscope I read about Cancer is so accurate. So I'm like, there's some things about me, like being sensitive and like being like caring and all that other fun stuff, can be positives or negatives. But I felt like I was put in positions in school, or like when I was put in groups or whatever, I'd naturally just like take the lead anyway, because some people like step back and like are afraid of that, I guess, limelight, like the holy light, or whatever they want to say. So I feel like my sister went school captain, so I just was like, okay, that's the cool thing to do. And it's cool. It kind of gave me a voice too. Otherwise, you get lost in the shadows a little bit. Our school wasn't massive. So being student rep council or being school captain, it kind of gave me a voice to say, look, this is me, this is what I want to do. And even when I started my business too, it gave me a little bit more exposure around the school. People knew what I was doing. People knew a little bit more. But 100%, every decision that I made every year during school, it kind of just brought a little bit more out of, like, in regards to leadership. Because even in high school, I got recognized for leadership. I actually got it was like a military award or whatever it was, but it was like a leadership award, and they actually recognized the student for it. My sister got it, then I got it 2 years later, which is pretty cool. So I feel like I wasn't really born a leader, but born with qualities of a leader.
Yeah, I'm like, that makes me so excited and grateful that you're sort of, in this path with Herbalife Nutrition, because you're only going to get stronger and better and bigger. And I think it's so important to have leaders, like, with anything, because, not going to go into the world's climate at the moment, but like, it's so important to have good, strong leadership to follow, because otherwise, where are we? So you talk about your sister, like, in such an amazing way. I love that. Like, it's very rare you kind of hear that and see that. So tell me about, like, how you got involved into Herbalife, like how you kind of started in that entrepreneurial route.
Of course. Well, basically, as I said, in high school, I was kind of, to put it lightly, and excuse French, but studying my backside off, and really just had mum going, you're going to be a teacher. And I'm like, but I want to do exercise science. And obviously I wanted to be teaching. That was like second preference. And then I remember it was April 2016. My sister came home with some shakes, like a big order, and started smashing these products. And she just wouldn't shut up about these products. And I'm like, I didn't really know any better. Like, I had chocolate milk and meat pies for breakfast on the way to school. I'd have energy drinks at school. I'd have a lot of alcohol Friday night, Saturday night, even Thursday night, and go to school hungover. Like, it wasn't a very positive lifestyle in that sense. But yeah, she came home talking about these products. And the funny thing is, she's basically just like, try a shake. The first shake she made me was terrible. I have no idea what she did to it, but it was disgusting. I'm like, nope, not doing this. And then actually, I kind of got dragged into a meeting. She's just like, can you drive me? She'd actually had a car accident and didn't want to drive. And I was like, I'll drive you if you leave me alone about it. And then, yeah, walked into a room, and obviously I can't really explain the energy and the feelings and all that other fun stuff, but that room was different. And I walked in and was like, for starters, saw a whole lot of six packs. I heard a whole lot of crazy incomes that I thought were fake, and a whole lot of young, attractive guys like crushing it, looking boss in suits. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So at that time, I just turned 18. I saw the meeting before I was 18, partied, studied, did whatever I needed to do. And then was like, hey, let's go. Because pretty much after that meeting, I was in. I didn't really know what entrepreneurship was. I didn't really know what business was. I just honestly thought, you go to school, you go to uni, you get a job, you work, you retire, whatever. Like everything. So, yeah, that kind of started it all. And obviously they started talking about personal development and mindset, and you need to grow and you need to learn the more skills and all this other fun stuff. So Obviously, it's now been coming up to 4 years ago. I decided to start my business, and I'm always forever grateful that my sister got me started. She's no longer in the doing the business. She works as a firefighter full time.
Wow.
So she just felt like kind of followed Dad's footsteps, realized that that's her vision, that's what she wanted to do. So she, now is a firefighter. And obviously, as I said, I'll always be grateful for her. But I'm now in a very young, powerful team, and set a new vision for myself once she's kind of got out, because then I had to decide if it was I'm doing it with her, for her, or I was actually in it for me, which is cool. So then, just I guess forever on that journey to learn more about business and entrepreneurship and personal development. And obviously that's why I speak so highly of my sister. So.
And it's kind of like, it's so perfect, because it's almost like this lifestyle you were already in, like with wanting to be a teacher and also exercise science, like that. I mean, in Herbalife, our job is fitness and nutrition, and we teach people how to, get great results. We also teach people how to, have a great, lifestyle through the business opportunity as well. So you've kind of like married the two, plus the mindset, the leadership, like all of that. Sometimes I talk to people, I'm like, oh, that's right, you're already in Herbalife. I'm like pitching you.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm like, I hear presentations now and speak to people, and I get so excited, and it's like I want to sign up again. But I can't take back anything from like those first years, because I remember like my sister and her sponsor, we'd all been in business for like probably 12 months. None of us really knew anything.
Yeah.
And we're all just going off pure excitement. And that was like, they're fun memories. I look back at photos and promotions that I did, and I'm like, what was I doing now? Because like everything we do now is purely social media, and we've learned a lot in how we market ourselves and how much we've grown, especially. And it blows my mind, honestly, for how far we've come in 4 years.
Yeah. I didn't even have Facebook when I started, so it's so funny, because when the old people, when I started, they were like, we had fax machines, and now I'm like, I didn't have Facebook when I started. It's just it's like ever evolving. Like, what's going to happen in the next 10 years when you're like having this conversation with a 20-year-old, or someone who's just started, and you're going to be like, wait, we just had Facebook and Instagram, now we've got bloody teleportation. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny how the worlds are going to be like that. It's like just to give like kind of an example, like in our organization, everyone naturally just goes Facebook and Instagram, especially for social media. And I'm like, oh, let's see what Twitter and TikTok can do.
Yeah.
And no down on either of them, but I found like, okay, let's try some more platforms and see what we can do. And I was kind of the one that started TikTok for the whole organization, because it went from, so I actually got started in that on, I think it was like November, up until, June now, and I've gone up like 24,000 followers, and it's the quick growing social media platform for me. It allows me to obviously reach more people, and that's how I started my international part of my business, through TikTok. So
that's cool. That is really cool. So what's been your biggest lesson in life? Like, sorry, not in life, but in business?
I feel like it can be applied to normal life too. So it's funny you put it that way, but I feel like you are your only variable. I remember hearing that in a presentation, like early Herbalife, and I'm like, I don't get it. And then it kind of clicked with it, and it was like my thing, because I compare myself to so many people. Like at the moment, like my sideline is crushing it, and like he's honestly like one of my best friends. So I'm like, I just want to be with him, excited. I want to do business. But the reality is, like, you can only control what you can control, and your success and whatever your goals and dreams are only going to come true and be achieved if you're putting in the work. Yeah. And it's still a lesson. Like, I'm still learning it, and I still say it every day, and I still preach it on social media, and I still preach it to my team, because a lot of my team compare to me. And that's crazy for me to think, because in the beginning I was looking up to my upline going, how the hell? And now I'm like tight with them and really close with them, and we're collectively all looking at someone else. And the reality is, you can only control, like, you're you're the factor in your success. So that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I love that. What's something people don't know about you? Don't know about Ethan Hughes?
Ooh.
You're about to hear it right now, everybody.
I feel like it's funny because social media and like the way I present myself and the way I'm seen, like if I go to someone and said, I was swimming champion every year in high school, I was student rep council, I was school captain, I was this, I was that, and list off the things I've done, people are like, damn, like you're confident, you're crushing it. I was never confident ever. Like, I think that's kind of just come across the older I get and the more I surround myself with the quality people. I found in primary school, it was kind of like, how to explain it without making this like super dark, but bullying and like the mental health kind of thing, it's already in our family, our mental health issues are already in our family anyway. And then I didn't really understand that and deal with that until it kind of smacked me in the face in high school because I was dealing with various different things. So I guess I can play off. It's not that I'm lying, but I can come across a lot more confident than I actually really am. And I think people need to understand that just because I look happy and I have a six pack and look great doesn't mean that I think I'm all bells and whistles.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, what are you like? How are you self-conscious or whatever? Like people are like, you already look great. I'm like, everyone's going to have their own thoughts about themselves and have their own, I guess, self-conscious. So it's funny because I heard this recently, and they say Instagram's like the highlights of your life when I really don't want it to be. I want to be real on social media and be sharing that. That's why I have multiple platforms, because people on Instagram probably wouldn't see the side of me that I put on TikTok, and it's the goofy, funny dancing, like all like the skits that we do on there because it's hilarious. And yeah, I guess it's just like people need to understand that some people do put their highlights on social media, but everyone's going through their own things. There's no need to like, I guess, jazz it all up. So I guess I couldn't really think of something like that, but that's what I got.
It's funny because like, you know, I hear what you're saying. Like I totally understand what you're saying. You do have this incredible confidence about you, but there is no cockiness about you. That's what I'm just like you've done this, you're this, but you're not. Yeah, I don't know. I tend to pick that stuff up, and we wouldn't be doing this interview if we were like that.
I agree, because in high school, like there was those characters in high school, and I surrounded myself with them, and naturally, like, so just to put it in perspective, I played 6 years of soccer, and that was like a whole family affair. My brother was so good that he had to play up 2 age groups to play with me because he was like destroying people in his age group. And then my dad was my coach, my mum was the manager, and my little brother was like the star of the show because he's incredibly good at what he was doing when we were playing. I was around like I feel like in soccer, there's a very like cockiness, arrogance. And if you want to go pro, you want to play in the big leagues, you have to have like a sense of like confidence. And there's a fine line. Humble and like still have confidence, and then cocky and arrogant. And then I went to rugby league, and it was even worse. Because then obviously I was getting into high school and surrounding myself with the football kids and the footy boys in school, and it was very much like that. Like I played rep touch football, exact same. Rep volleyball, exact same. And in high school, if I didn't like start my business and start surrounding myself with different people, that's probably where I guess would have been, because it was who I was surrounding my time with. Now, when I met my sister's coaches, and now obviously they're my main coaches, just to highlight him, his name's Bex, and he's like, when I saw his results, he was like, got jacked, put on a heap of muscle, and just has the best six pack. And I was like, oh, God damn. And then I met him, so humble, and I was like, holy moly. And then I met another guy in the team, Robbie, same thing, has an amazing six pack, but humble as. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is how you're meant to be when you look like that. And obviously surrounding myself with them, there's really no other way to be, because I find that like the cockiness and arrogance, that's not really an attractive thing. And then when you're in a business, when you're interacting and building relationships with people, you want to be able to be trustworthy, and like you want people to come to you. And being cocky and arrogant isn't going to bring that to you.
Yeah,
So.
I love that. And you know, with confidence, sometimes, like especially in the nature of our business, where you're building relationships, building a team as well, like that, the confidence isn't about being arrogant and cocky. The confidence is actually about inspiring, because like there are days where you don't want to be, you don't want to do stuff, but you have to, because what do I expect of my team when they're feeling like this? How do I help them? So it's like my confidence has to come out in that respect, and just like do what you have to kind of do.
100%. My sponsors have done that so comfortably. Like when my sister left, they had so much confidence and so much belief that this is for me, I'm on the right path. And like, I never heard about their issues. And obviously now that I'm closer, you kind of speak to them, and you become more family than anything business, which is cool. And I've just learned from people that are doing it to me, and it's just like what they say, it's just duplication. And now my team are looking at me, and it was a really funny story. So last year we had a particular qualification, and my team member crushed it, like blew it out of the park. And I was going through a crappy time in my business and like personal stuff and all this stuff. He never knew. And he's like, why aren't you coming to the dinner for the qualification? I was like, I didn't qualify, man. It's all you. And he's like, what? And I'm like, man, like that's just the confidence and belief that I've been like that have been given to me. So
Yes.
I'm just gonna give it to you guys now. And people will never know, which is cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool pink shake cup.
It's the best thing ever.
All right. So Ethan, very serious question. Is there a lucky lady in your life? Because I'm sure there's a lot of lucky little ladies watching and going, come on, where you at?
I love this question because I feel like I've been on such a path in my life. Like, and I'm not saying this to get sympathy or anything, but 3 people cheated on me in a row. And then I had my ex-partner, which obviously didn't work out. So when I first started my business, I was like, nah, I'm a single man. I'm just going to crush this business, become financially free, and like live in a mansion on my own and just be that person. And there was like a couple of people I was watching on social media who do that, and especially in our business. And I'm like, wow, like that's what I wanted to do. Then I met my ex-partner. And then I was like, okay, we're looking at the couples and kind of just getting vision for like, let's build a family, let's do all these things. And then obviously we split, went back to the single hustle sort of life. And then really recently, my focus was pure business. Because when I wrote my goals for this year, I was like, I've written some similar goals over the past years, but I feel like the lessons we've learned, I was like, okay, 2020 is the year that we really start getting this train rolling and at a serious speed. And obviously, like none of that's been slowed down. Like the train is like full steam ahead, which is cool. So, like the first let's say the first 5 months was just single hustle, really build the foundations to the year. And then a particular lady comes in and just swept me off my feet really recently. So it's obviously very, very new, but when I kind of think about who I want to spend life with, it's like probably the 2 biggest things that my actually mentor taught me, because the past relationship didn't have these things. This new lady has a massive growth mindset, and she has her own goals, and she's already like, whether I'm there or not, she's going to do it anyway, which is really, really attractive. And then when I share my goals and what I'm doing, and she sees that I hustle, and I'm like, a lot of the time I'm in business focus mode, or I'm like, if I'm out, I'm always like, oh, I could do this, or I see an empty shop and I'm like, here's my new spot for my club or whatever. And she's naturally got that growth mindset, and she's so like, it's so funny because she was here like the other week and she's like, have you done your business actions for the day? And I'm like, no, I haven't finished them. She's like, get out of bed and go. And she's like, just go and do it. She's like, I'm here to help and support you. This is what we're doing. And I find that when they're like that, I obviously do think about the future and think about what that'll bring. Because I feel like people my age are very, very immature naturally, and it's very rare to find someone with a growth mindset who thinks about the other person's goals and obviously wants to support. So
Yeah.
yeah, when it comes to that, it was just like it wasn't really a focus until she obviously came in. But as long as the person has a growth mindset, because I feel like if I'm growing and I'm like up here and they're just like hanging down here, there's always going to be friction in the relationship, which part of the relationship, it was like that. So now that we're both kind of bouncing off each other, it's really natural and really effortless, which is cool. So
Your energy just feeds off each other, because like if you're personally growing, and we're not talking about just financial or business career,
not at all, yeah.
but it's personally growing, and someone's not, like, we have this tendency, especially in relationships, to, oh, I'm feeling this way, come down here with me and feel sorry for me and be next to me and la la la. And like, that's normal and it kind of happens here and there, but like, you need to snap yourself out of it and get back up, not rely on someone else to make you feel like, oh, you know, I'm better now, you know, come back up here. Like, I think that's cool. I'm really excited to see a photo of this new woman. She sounds amazing. And like, you know, vision for the future, like, you know, obviously you're only 21, so there's lots of life. Like, I didn't want kids until I met Charles, and I was like 28 or 9, and I was like, okay, we can have family.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a vision for a family, like, down the track?
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad this gets brought up, because I feel like naturally, like, I feel like being a dad is always like one of the greatest achievements. My sister's about to walk in the door, so we'll get some noise in a sec. But I feel like that was already a vision. That was what I wanted to do, and my ex-partner kind of gave me that. I guess gave me that vision anyway, because she was so like, I want kids, like, this is what we want to do. And it kind of just like made me think, what do I actually want? And obviously that's like a big picture. I feel like my mindset's at like 30 and I'm in like a 20-year-old body. So I'm already thinking ahead, and I have like a lot of my team and a lot of my best friends are a lot older than me. So, and obviously this new partner, she's very like future heavy. She's got a very heavy family focus. Her family is so tight knit, and it's kind of cool because my family's kind of not because of obviously my parents are split. The siblings obviously stick together, and I feel like what I'm seeing, the way I've been brought up, my parents did so much. I guess they work hard for us and create that tight knit family bond, and obviously I feel like the massive achievement. So obviously track, but I do want to build the business and build a little bit more financial security and travel and tick off some other things that I want to do before I have that responsibility of looking after another human.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. And, you know, one of the things that I, like when I became a mum, it was really like clear to me, like, you can have it all. You can have this amazing career, you know, amazing like income opportunity, travel the world, go on holidays, whatever it is, and still have a fit business and still love yourself and still look good, like everything like that. I made it really like, okay, this is my focus to share this, because people think that, oh, I'm a mum now, I don't have time for me, I don't have time for that. Like, you can do it all. It's just about where you're at in your mind. Do you have any pet hates, Ethan?
My biggest one at the moment, and this comes just from like obviously dealing with people. I worked in retail for 4 years, and now I work in hospitality, so I'm always obviously dealing with people. But it drives me up the wall when someone like, and I still learn this too, because I'm not perfect and I still have to deal with the same stuff. But when someone says they're going to do something, or they say they got a goal, or they say they're committed to something, or make a claim, then nothing in between actually backs that up, or they don't do it in general. And I feel like early days, especially when I started my business, in school it happened too, but just for an example, I'd have like team members and they're like, we're going to go do all this work, and then nothing actually follows, and it used to like make me so upset, and I used to get so aggravated about it. And now, like, obviously I still have to deal with it, it's still a pet peeve, but Obviously, I just learnt ways to handle it, and I can't obviously have expectations until actions are shown. And it happens at work too. People say, "Oh, I'm going to do this," and they don't. And that obviously just all comes back to you have to control what you control. I can't control someone else's actions. I can't control what someone else says. So
Yeah.
it just drives me up the wall. Obviously, other things like smoking, other things like drugs. I'm like the least smoked drug, whatever person ever. Touched it, never will, don't want to touch it. But yeah, they're the kind of two things.
And what about, are you scared of anything?
I don't really like I don't really like spiders. Spiders like this.
Oh my God, Ethan, like I am full blown arachnophobic. Like I cry, I have nightmares. I cry. Like if I think like right now I'm getting like I'm choking.
The thing is, because when we were growing up, we like used to ride motorbikes. We used to like be outdoors and stuff. And it's not so much like, obviously, like I'm not going to like get all, because I know that like my dad's partner is like super arachnophobic too. Like gags, gets all like jittery and everything. I feel like that was like kind of thing before I started Herbalife, and before like I feel like the whole like dying and the whole like negative kind of stigma on that, I was like, nah, don't want to die, like want to live forever, this is what we're going to do. And then I feel like there's like, if we're going like on a more deeper level, I feel like just not sticking to my word. Like I've written goals in the front of my journal, it sits beside me when I work, and there's some big goals on here, and I hate that feeling when I'm like, can't, like I cross through it because I haven't done it, or I cross it because I haven't done it, or I can't do this because I'm like, that's like this, it's like, it's a different type of fear, but it scares the living daylights out of me, and I hate that feeling. So that's another thing too.
So that and spiders, gotcha.
Yeah, well that and spiders, that's kind of, there's two ways to look at that. So
I literally, I'm pretty sure like it was probably a couple of months ago, there's been 2 incidences with spiders. And I feel like I attract it because it's like there in my mind. But like there was this little spider in the room. I swear I ran out and left the 2 kids in the room. I was like, I'm out. You know, like burn the house down. And then the other night I went for a run. I came back, and normally I come through the front door, but I knew Coco would still be awake with Charles. So I thought I'll go through the back gate. And I had my torch on my phone, and I went to put my hand to open up the gate. And this spider, like the huge spider, just kind of goes boom like that. I just backflipped, did a triple twirl, like out, and I came in like bawling my eyes out to Charles, and he's like, "Don't put your fears on other people."
Yeah, no. Like there's been a husband that's like been living in our house, and it kind of just comes out whenever. And my sister's like, "Catch it." I'm like, "Nope." Stay up on the wall. I can stay there. I do not want to touch that.
Not gonna happen. All right. So, how about? Do you have any bad habits, Ethan?
At the moment is just like sleeping in and just like going to bed really late and sleeping in. I genuinely say, like, I love waking up early and getting the day started early. And this is kind of brought on because of work. Because actually, at the moment, I work in a pub, and it's like very irregular, and I'm never in bed at the same time. And of course, like I'm always like hustling after work on my business and doing other things.
Yeah.
And so I find that irregular sleep pattern, and obviously it kind of like, for me sleeping in, it kind of just gives me like a lazy start to the morning. So that's kind of the thing at the moment, but it's just like causes procrastination and just like that slow feeling in the morning, that lethargic feeling in the morning. It's obviously I have my tea and get my shake in me and have it get going, but
yeah, I get it.
Laziness in the morning.
What about so travel? Where do you want to go? And if there was, like, obviously we can't travel right now, but if there was anywhere else you could see in the world, where do you think that would be?
Okay, travel. I want to do, because I've obviously never been, I want to do Europe on like a grand scale, because obviously my sister, my dad has been, and my little brother have been to Europe 2 or 3 times now, and my new partner went last year, and I've seen the photos and it looks unbelievable. But in saying that, I love like the Asian culture and Asian food. I've been to Bali twice, and I've been to Singapore for one of the conferences. which was awesome. But that was like a really quick, obviously very focused trip. Bali was like a party trip because I did that for schoolies after high school. So obviously I'd love to do those again. But in the fact of like living somewhere, probably Hawaii. I've been there twice. The whole vibe of Hawaii, it's like very chill, very relaxed. It's not really like it can be busy, but everyone's still relaxed anyway, which is kind of crazy. And during the day, like it'll be hot, so there's not really many people around. It hits nighttime and there's millions of people on the street, which is a cool vibe because it kind of cools down enough. People can then do their shopping and then go out and do whatever they need. And obviously surfing.
Intensity or something about it.
Yeah, which is cool. So obviously I love the beach. I love that kind of lifestyle. And obviously I want to be able to surf and be close to the beach. And
yeah, that's cool.
So.
Yeah, that seems like a good goal. All right. So what are some things that made you who you are?
Cool. That's a really deep question. I feel like the school that I went to and like the whole atmosphere of that environment. So when I went to school, the school's naturally small anyway, so you could really build close relationships with the teachers, whether you liked it or not. Like you're with the teacher with a small group of students, and that was how it is. So I feel like the whole journey through high school is kind of just that made me who I was, and obviously being student rep council every year and being school captain was kind of like molding me into obviously that leader or whatever I wanted to, wherever that put me in life. Of course, dealing with mental health and all that other fun stuff that we've had to deal with, my parents' divorce, and then obviously starting my business. So firstly, parents' divorce, I feel like realistically, it was coming, but none of us really like thought it would actually happen. And then when it announced, it kind of rattled all my siblings and me a fair bit. Now, obviously, it's just something we have to deal with, and it's not really our part to say. Like, we don't really have much of a say in their decisions, which is cool in that sense. And that kind of just, I guess, molded me and kind of made me grow up a lot quicker than I thought I would need to. And then, what else did I say? Starting my business, that was kind of, it made me think about what I actually really want, what my life goals were. Like I had all these things in my head. I've never actually written them down, but I had all these things in my head that I wanted to do: travel the world, surf here, buy this car, live here, have a mansion, whatever. And when I actually put them to paper, I was like, oh, damn, like there's a lot of things that a normal 9-to-5 like corporate job is not going to give you. Time freedom is not going to happen in a corporate job. So that kind of just molded me into obviously focusing on me, focusing on what I actually want, focusing on growing and developing and all that other fun stuff. And I can't remember what I said, but that's kind of like, I feel like starting my business, parents' divorce, and high school in general kind of set me up to be where I'm currently at.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's so much experience like to come, like so much learning growth. Like, yeah, that's so cool. All right, so one of my questions is, what would you say to your 20-year-old self? That was last year, so we're just going to move on from that. What advice do you think your 80-year-old self would say to you today?
I feel like I truly believe I'm on the right path, that I'm like the path that I'm meant to be on. And me being at 80 years old, like the way I see myself at 80 is going to be like, I'm still going to have a six pack. I'm still going to be healthier than ever. And me being at 80, I'm probably going to look 60. So I think my 80-year-old self would say, stay on path, stay true to what you say you want, and don't let anyone else tell you differently, because it's not very often that people go, this is what I'm meant to be doing for the rest of my life, and this is what, like, where I see myself. And I truly believe, like, we've found the vehicle, we found where we need to be in life, and it kind of ticks off. Like, I wanted to teach people anyway, and like people, and I wanted to obviously get healthy and educate people through health, fitness, nutrition, and all that other side of things. And we do all these things in this business. And of course, then all the leadership and all the personal development things come with what we do. So I feel like it's just stay on the right path, stay consistent. And we've actually learned this line from a training a couple of weeks ago. I'll find what the actual words were because it was only like, it's going to take me too long, but it was like,
that'd be awesome.
Let me find the specific words because it was so powerful. And it was by a gentleman in our business. He did a training in the UK, I believe. And it was really, it was incredible. So,
I love that you keep a notebook because like too many people don't. And that's probably one of my pet peeves, like seeing people in trainings, like just sitting there listening, because there's only so much you're going to remember. There's only so much inspiration you're going to take. Like I literally have notebooks that are like books. Like I read them like it's a novel and you just get so much personal development out of that.
100%. I was actually cleaning my room with my partner. She came over, she's like, we need to declutter your space, we need to clear this stress. And she fully just like helped me clean it. And we pulled out like all these journals. And I found like my habit in the beginning was I'd get to like 3/4 of the way through a novel and be like, I need a new one. So I've got all these journals that aren't finished, but actual notes in there. Wow.
Yeah.
I found the line that I wanted to say. So this gentleman, obviously his name's Garain. He's from America, but he said, he gave me like 5 steps to everyone, like how everyone should be facing their storms or negative and tough times. But number 5 was lock into your mission and do not deviate. If you fall off, get back on the path and keep going. And when he shared that, I was like, damn, like it's just about consistency and staying on path to what you want, which is cool.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. All right, so last questions. What would you say to someone who wanted to start their own business?
I feel like what I did, and I'm actually really proud of this, is locked into the reason why you want to start your business. Like if it's purely just to say I own a business, I find it's not going to be strong enough to keep you going, keep the drive going. In the beginning, I pretty much just followed my sister and was like, this is cool. This is what I want to do. Like fill some time in my week. But then I actually locked into, I want financial freedom. I hate having zeros in my bank account. I want a number and then some zeros in the bank account. And like, obviously I want to be able to travel without any second thought. I want to walk into a store and not have to look at the price tag. And I feel like really locking in the reason why you're doing it, everything else will kind of figure itself out. If you just decide on the purpose, I guess you could say. Because I find I've had a lot of tough phone calls with my mentor where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know why I'm doing, like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, why did you start? Like, what's the reason for this? Like, why are you working so hard? Why are you worked up right now? Because if you didn't care about your business, you wouldn't be worked up. So I found like every time that I'm like a little bit cloudy in regards to why I do the business, I lock into why I started, what my actual goals are. And for anyone starting, whatever it is, whether it be like you're opening a cafe, whether you're opening a beauty salon, whether you're opening a multi-million-dollar business, whatever it is, figure out why and purpose. I just finished a book and it's by Simon Sinek, amazing leader. And he wrote a book, Start With Why. And that's what he speaks about. Like Apple, they have a purpose and a why to their business. The Wright brothers who created the first plane or whatever they did, first man-made plane. They had a reason and a why. There's a person who was, I guess, trying to do the same thing as the Wright brothers when they first started, had all the money, had all the resources to do it faster, but there was no actual reason behind, like, there was no why behind what they were doing. The Wright brothers wanted it more. And there's heaps of other like case studies and stuff in that book, but I was like, wow. And I really thought about my business and why I started, and I guess that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned in the beginning too.
Yeah, that's great. I actually literally like Charles loves Simon Sinek, and we found it was on our bookshelf, like start with why, and I started reading that a few weeks ago. So I totally know what you're talking about, and the bit about Apple, like how he talks about, you know, there's other companies that literally have a better product, but because of the way they sell it is why you need this, like, as opposed to like, you know, or like, how will this make your life better, as opposed to like, hey, this has this feature, this feature, this feature, you should buy this product.
Yeah, 100%.
Really powerful. And I think one of the things with our business, which is so amazing, is like, people rarely last if it's about money. You know, it's, you just see people come and go, like they make money and then they don't make money and then they quit. And you know, you have to be deeper than that, like to go anywhere. All right, if you were given $50,000 right now, what would you do with it? Would you put it in charity, invest it, start something? Like, I think I know that.
I love that question, because I feel like there's so many things, and I feel like there's an answer that some people like expect me to say, and there's an answer that like that's like right by society. So first, I would clear the debts that I do have, because I bought a car actually off my mum, so clear that debt and clear some other debts. I actually borrowed money to go to an event last year that I still haven't paid back for, so just clear some of that sort of stuff. I did a charity ride for the Herbalife Nutrition Foundation, and it was like the most crazy experience I've ever done. So I'd actually donate to that, a portion to that. And then of course I'd invest into the business, invest into obviously the next project, which is our smoothie bar or nutrition club or nutrition cafe, whatever you'd like to call it. And I feel like that's the answer for me to get out of work and actually work for myself. Because I'd be there 7 days a week. I would be waking up, making smoothies, creating an epic vibe, and then going home to do it all again tomorrow, which is really cool, and creating like a physical community where people can come in, hang out. And I want to make that like safe place for people to come and obviously get good nutrition, get positive vibes, and really just escape from whatever's happening in the real world. Because I felt like that's what Herbalife and that's what the club for me was initially. Like, I went to the fit clubs, I went to my mentor's lifestyle center, and that's exactly what the club was for me. It was an escape from all the chaos in the real world. So debts that I donate to Herbalife Nutrition Foundation or like Headspace or something like that, and then I'd invest in the nutrition club and get it up and running straight away. So,
You got your priorities right, that's for sure. That's really cool. All right, Ethan, it has been a brilliant conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because and I'm super excited to get this out. So where can people find you? That's my last question. What's your Instagram? We'll drop it below, of course, but like, where can people find you?
everything. Cool. So I do have YouTube as well, and I release like workouts and nutrition and some other mindset and some other fun stuff. So that's just my name, Ethan Hughes. But my TikTok, my Instagram are both HughesieFit24, and obviously it'll be down in the body box below, so you guys can find that. And my Twitter is the exact same as well. Same handle, same everything. But yeah, my YouTube's the only different one with my name. So.
That is cool. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I hope to see you, I don't know, like when? Like probably Spectacular, January, right?
It probably will be, because we did qualify for the World Team Retreat, which was meant to be in Melbourne. But obviously with everything going on, and that's going to be virtual, our team's actually doing like a own team retreat, which is going to be really cool to get away. And yeah, I guess it's not going to be too spectacular. So hopefully we'll be on stage and speaking and even on the couches or something.
Yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. All right, thank you so much, Ethan. Have an amazing day. And for everybody else, go and follow Ethan on all of those channels. I will link them all below. What's fallen over? And yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
No worries.